Welcome to another episode of the Straight Up Chicago Investor Podcast. I'm your guest, Lantz Kurzawinski, and with me as always is your hosts, Mark and Tom.
He's heard it enough times. He knew the challenge and accepted.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard you get that loud.
That was awesome. He's
Wow. Most people that know you probably don't know that you could do that.
heard us make fun of enough guests where he knows he's got to come in hot.
But here's the question, though. Did you practice that?
No.
Like, that was the first time? Like, you didn't do that earlier last night when you were thinking about it? No, nothing? Okay.
As he was saying, I was like, man, I wonder how you say Lance's last name. First time I've heard that.
I'm related to the guy, and I call him Lance K. So, so man, summer's over. What are you up to this fall?
Kids are back. So we're recording this the end of August. Kids are back in school. Nice to get into a routine. We've had some major flips we've closed to, and we're trying to get two more done before one's going to land like in Christmas. It is what it is. But try to get them both off the books before the new year hits, if possible. Try to get it under contract or be earlier, and then land in December. Get them off the books.
Are you finding things right now to put in a contract to line up for next year, or are you slowing down?
I'm gonna be careful what I said because last time I said something out loud like this, it got snaked from me. So I'm gonna keep my tongue. Next year's looking okay right now. Like it's looking as it should. We definitely have two deliveries, and then hopefully another one coming here. So get another one or two in the spring, and 5 big deliveries is a good year for us.
Nice.
So we're chugging along here. So no complaints on my end. What I did want to say though is we picked up some new listeners, so we gotta give them the spiel. We need some likes, we need some shares, we need to do. If you're just discovering us, this is what keeps us going. That's how other people find us. So please take the 30 seconds for us.
You're on here because you're a real estate investor or a wannabe real estate investor, and you probably have
wannabes.
friends.
If you're a wannabe, get out.
You're working towards being. You're still wannabe, but you have friends, you have family that are in real estate investing. It's maybe how you got to this point. But refer this episode, the show. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, all the places. Google it up. You'll find us anywhere.
Yeah, we're everywhere now.
We are.
We did a good job.
Yep.
Thanks to the person sitting across from us here.
Yep. Today's guest, I'm excited to have him on here today. So.
Yeah, I was excited when we said we were going to do this. I got very excited.
I did.
And I got very excited because I know he's kind of quiet-spoken and did not want to come on.
I know.
That made it better.
And we only gave him 24-hour notice. I almost was nervous he was going to get sick today. So.
Oh, yeah, screw that. So, all right, so you want to jump in?
Yeah, for sure. So housing provider tip of the week is, I see a lot of investors want to, maybe they have a condo in the city and they want to keep their storage unit and keep their stuff in it and not give that to the tenant when they move out. Or they have a room in the basement they want to put a special lock on and keep their stuff in. Or they have a third car garage or a closet or a storage room in the back of the garage they want to keep their stuff in. And I've, over the years, it's something we don't allow at our management company anymore because I've seen it go bad too often. Someone living in the house gets the lock open. Maybe the lock just never officially worked. People go in there, they lose things. You're actually now taking away value. Think about this: how much storage you have in a condo in the city? Very little. So now you're taking away the value you could be adding to get that rented or have somebody stick around longer because they have enough room for that storage. So moral of the story here is if you have a rental, give them full access to everything. If you have stuff, I watch so many owners that they've kept stuff in a rental for years, and then they ultimately just throw it away anyway. So evaluate what you have, either move it somewhere, sell it, or give it away, or just throw it away. But get the stuff and give full free range access to your renters.
Good stuff. All right, jump in. Youngest guest to date, for sure.
Youngest guest to date. One of the youngest real estate investors I've ever known. And he has a great history. And the guy's just turned 21. He did so much before he was able to legally drink. Now we could say it. I used to see him always sidearm his beers at the Straight Up Chicago parties. Like it's almost like a drill where you're waiting for an adult to walk in and call you out. So you kind of leave it to the side. So I watched you do it, but now you can legally do it. But without further ado, Lance K. All right, Lance. Welcome to the underground that you're in all the time, but you're actually in the hot seat today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
We talk about you so much on the show. We reference you and everything you've done, and you're just 21. I talk about you all the time, even without you even realizing it. But man, I'm excited to get you in the seat because you've done more than a lot of people have done. So, how does it feel to be here?
It feels weird being in the seat. So, I'm excited to talk about everything, and I just want to start by saying I'm grateful for all the opportunities and everything you guys have given me. I wouldn't be anywhere without you guys. So you guys have opened the door for me in every aspect, and have really guided me through everything. So I appreciate everything you guys have both done for me, and I'm excited.
Those are kind words, but you came and knocked on the door. We'll get to that, right? Like you put in some effort.
Yeah.
Nothing was handed to you here.
Yeah, and we'll get to that, and that's one of the biggest things is you've actually stepped up and said, you've raised your hand and said, I want to do this, or how can I do this? And that's been the biggest thing about you. Just before we go any further, there's somebody recording this right now, right?
Yes, it's recording.
Yeah, this is for those listening. Lance always sits here and does all the audio for the podcast, and now there's just no one in that seat, and he's in the guest
It's weird,
seat,
like there's
and,
not even someone over there.
It feels fake. Yeah.
I'll look over to him every so often to see if he liked that joke or whatever, and then there's no one there to make him feel good. So, well, here, man, let's start from the beginning, and it's not that long ago. It's kind of funny. We actually joke around a lot about like the year you're born and all that stuff. So, I was actually starting my real estate career when you were being born, but you started this journey a long time ago. I know, full disclosure, if anyone that doesn't know, you're my stepbrother. I always like to say you're my dad's fourth wife's kid.
Yep.
So I've obviously been around you since you're a little kid, and my son Mason always brings up how we threw you over the ledge.
Oh yeah, it was like a 2-story house off the second story ledge onto a couch. Probably got some brain damage from it, but still doing good.
Anything to entertain the younger kids.
Oh man, it was great. It was great. But you've been around a long time, and you've been ultimately trying to learn. You've fed yourself with information and books. I think Think and Grow Rich. You're reading that. How old were you when you were reading that?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say you probably got that for me when I was 12 or 14 for Christmas. And I was so excited for it because it was like my first book. And I don't know, I've always been obsessed with money, probably a lot thanks to you and like business and entrepreneurship. But yeah, it was like, I was probably 12 or 14. You got it for me for Christmas. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with everything. I remember like working at Itasca when I got started working. I got a job at Jewel. I was stacking shelves, worked until like 10 p.m. and I was just listening to BiggerPockets. I was chugging away at all these podcasts and all these like motivational books. I remember like Jocko Willink, who got me Extreme Ownership, and that just opened my eyes to everything, just in general in the whole self-development world, I would say, and then personal finance as well. So I mean, I've kind of always been obsessed with it.
Why do you think that is, though? I mean, it's usually the nature versus nurture. Like, I mean, yeah, I gave you a couple books, but I only gave you books after I saw that in you, though. Like, what do you think actually got you?
I'm not sure when it exactly started, but I mean, it's probably a lot of reasons. Like growing up, I feel I've watched like my parents. They're not, I wouldn't say the most financially educated, but at least they've been living paycheck to paycheck. From my dad's side, like watching a previous divorce, you're seeing a lot of these financial struggles impact personal life and going into cause issues into personal and family life. And I think growing up seeing that and that being the root cause of a lot of these issues kind of, I don't want to say scarred me, but it kind of forced me to like, this is what's important. I want to avoid that at all costs. So I think that's why I'm so obsessed with at least finances and growing and financial independence and the importance of that. That's probably one of it. And then obviously just trying to better myself and be the best I can.
So let's say you're a freshman in high school now. You have this drive. You've started to get this education. Our school system doesn't really align with entrepreneurship, though.
100%.
Right. So like, at what point were you like, all right, like this is my route. I'm not doing college. Like, talk to us about like those teenage years.
So I remember in junior high, like fidget spinners, if you remember those things, those were super popular. So I would glue them together with hot glue and get some bearings.
I was on my second kid when this was happening, remember? Like,
so this is, So when I was growing up, I was kind of always doing that. And I realized I had that entrepreneurship drive and I didn't really see the general school route. So I always had good grades. I wasn't super engaged, but I always loved entrepreneurship classes or maybe small business and development. I always loved that. But general classes, I mean, I didn't have too much interest in it. I remember talking to Mark about this in depth on my decision if I wanted to go to college or not. Was kind of on the edge if I wanted to dive into real estate or just go to school. Ended up going to Lindenwood in St. Louis for springboard diving. Kind of was last minute and jumped on, and they still had a spot for me. And then I ended up having one semester. I went through all the classes, and I had really good grades, but I wanted more, Ended up not working out for diving for some other reasons, and I started working full-time at like Walmart for 40 hours while in school just because I wanted to make money and start working. I had good grades, but I didn't really enjoy it. I was having fun, but I feel like I kind of had a different drive or a different desire than a lot of my classmates who were just partying and kind of content with where they were at. I don't want to like sound like I'm better than anyone, but I just had a different set of goals or separate drive to do something else, I would say. So that's kind of like what opened the door to the podcast and becoming a leasing agent here at GC.
You glossed over that. Like you literally, I don't know what year of high school is. You're like, I'm going to go into diving. You mastered diving. Like I think you came, I don't know if you won state or you came close to state, and then you got a scholarship like right away, like to a private school. Like how'd that happen? Or like, do I have those things right?
Yeah. Freshman year, I kind of just went to this open gym. I met a few friends and I enjoyed it. I was pretty good at it. And then I kind of just stuck with it throughout all high school. I was pretty good. I went to state for 3 years there. And I got a small scholarship to go to Lindenwood, which technically it was their first year transitioning to D1. So technically I could say I was a D1 collegiate athlete.
Oh, let's hear the worst dive where you almost killed yourself.
Worst dive? Probably off 10 meter. I was doing a double, just messing around, and I ended up back flopping completely on my back. Everything went numb. It was not fun.
Sounds awesome.
It's such a cool skill. Like to like, I mean, I don't know. Like you're halfway entertaining. Like I've seen you jumping off cliffs and stuff like that. Like it.
Yeah, I think it's just the adrenaline. I've always loved just putting myself out there and getting close to death. I don't know. I mean, it's just that adrenaline rush of getting over that fear, getting over that hump. One thing I've always loved is, we touched on this later, but it's like Ryan Holiday's The Obstacle is the Way. That's probably my favorite book right now. It's just getting over those fears and then growing from them.
So he's a bigger entrepreneur than he's leading on because we would go fishing. My dad, Lance, myself, and then our other brother, Steven, who's right in middle age. I think he's 10 years younger than me. And me and him would pay him to do the dumbest things. Like we literally said, it was like 90 degrees. We're like, we'll give you $1 for every hour and every article of clothing you could wear. So he had like everything he brought on this trip, like every sweatshirt. It's like 90. We're making him play 21 in the outside. Like, we made him. It was pouring rain and lightning. We're like, in your underwear, go jump off the end of the pier. We'll give you $10. Like, and he's like, bam, he runs and does it.
Give me 20.
20.
Yeah, down there right away.
He negotiated too always, but. He was always down to get that adrenaline to be able to make $20, $25. So it was always fun having him around because you never knew what you could get him to do.
There you go.
Yeah, always do anything for money, and I'm always super frugal. So,
Yeah.
All right, so talk to us. You come and work for GC then? Is this right around 2020? Give us the time frame here. How old were you and what year was this?
This was about 2 years ago. So
You came back from school.
Yeah, so I came back from my freshman year. It was the summer. I started in May.
You started showing properties.
Started
That's how
showing
you started.
properties, yeah, as a leasing agent.
And you told me you hated it.
Not too much of a fan, no. I enjoyed the day-to-day or running around doing things, but I didn't enjoy how I didn't have control over some of the aspects of it. And also, I'm not really a people person. I want to just work and put my head down and kind of do work. Also,
like right now, everyone's like, "Oh, well, he knew Mark." Like, no, every property management company in Chicago right now needs quality people, right? Every single one is posting on LinkedIn, right? Hey, we need a maintenance guy, we need leasing, we need property managers. Like every single property management company that's growing needs people. So this isn't like specific to like, oh, you just got your foot in the door. Like there are opportunities out there for everybody.
Every property management company in the hundreds of them in the city or real estate companies are owned by a Mark. That somebody, I wish I could have 5 more of you guys show up every month.
Yes, like this is in demand.
This is in demand. Like you just took advantage of something that was accessible.
And a lot of that was running around, driving lockboxes off, doing one-off things. Property management, you're always going to have things like that, either with onboarding properties or rental, like anything with rentals. You're always going to have one-off things to do. Either meet residents, meet a client somewhere, or drop off lockboxes, access information, whatever.
Well, younger, I remember being like this when I was younger. One of the biggest values for someone your age, or just call it 25 and under, right, is your ability to do anything anytime. Hey, man, I have this problem, and I got to get this over here by this time. Can you help me? Sure, I'm on my way. Like you were able to do that. You still do that to a point now, and that makes it so much valuable. And then all of a sudden, you can depend on someone, and then you start getting more opportunity and so forth. So that's something you really seized the opportunity on as well, too.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so where do we go from leasing?
How did that transition?
You started going to rent readies. I ended up having to take over turnovers because we went between people, and then I'm like, how about you just go do this report for me?
Yeah, I think it was that. So I was in leasing. I think I communicated that, it's okay. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I know it was good, but I kind of wanted something else, like I said. And then you said, I think you took over some of the maintenance. I think there was transition in the company, and asked me to just do this quality check. And I kind of fell in love with that because I've always been really hands-on. And then growing up with Tony, your father, my stepdad, and I kind of grew up in rentals, always working hands-on with him. He would do always these one-off things. He was also an electrician in trade for his career. So I've kind of always worked with him and just learned as much as I can on every aspect. I really love that.
But what you did too, so I'd send him to do a quality control and just looking to report this documented, he'd actually fix the things.
There you go.
And it's like, oh shit, so now I don't have to send a second guy. I could, throw him a couple bucks and still be ahead of the game. But it wasn't even I had to ask. He's like, yeah, no, I had this tool, so I just did this. Or I was right by Menards, so I just grabbed this real fast and put it. It's like, wow. Like, so you took it that step further above, you just kind of went above expectation wise. And that was super valuable as well too. There was somebody in my role at that time that just needs someone to get shit done. Definitely.
I think throughout the board, ever since I've started, I've kind of always been doing things like that. I think that could also be me not understanding what my responsibilities were prior to that, or also me wanting to go above and beyond.
It's because I was a bad communicator.
Yeah, this is
trying to get me to do more work. But I remember when I was in leasing, if a unit wasn't clean all the way, I would just start cleaning it. I would, before showing, I would clean the tub, clean the toilet if I needed to, just get it done instead of maybe putting a work order in and having someone else to clean and then charging the owner another cleaning fee or sending it as a recall.
All right, let's talk about the podcast too, because this is kind of exciting. We kind of glance at, or we mentioned throughout the show, but the whole reason we have the studio down here is because of Lantz, right? Like you were the one who, as at 19 years old, was like, "You guys are idiots. You need to do this."
I think your exact words like, "If you guys want to stay relevant and keep doing this, you need to start doing this in person."
Yeah,
that was more of like.
Yeah, it was strictly Zoom when I first came on, and the quality was really bad. So I've always been obsessed with podcasts, and I saw the trend, or I see everyone doing in person and upping the quality and everything. So that's kind of what my thought process was.
But at that point, you built this level of trust where it was like, you're like, I think we just said, well, what do we need? And you're like, I'll make you a list. And you made a list. It was like $11,000, $12,000. We're like, okay, go take care of it. Like, so we trusted you. Like, there's not many people I trust with $12,000, like in my life, like in this company even sometimes at times, but like, I had no concern of like handing over the credit card. Like, and that was built over everything that you did on a one-off basis the prior 18 months.
I remember before that you come into my house and like fixing the lighting. Like you were in my wife's like, why is this like teenager in our house right now? I was like, oh, this is our audio engineer, this guy. But yeah, I remember like he was running around doing all that crap for us, and then it was like, screw it, like let's just get it done in person.
Yep. So it is thanks to you, man. That I always tell people that we have this setup. People always compliment me on the setup, and I always say, man, I can't even take credit for it. So
yeah, so like for our listeners out there, Lantz has done the setup. He's here at every single time we do the recording. I don't really know what's going on there, but he's handling all the mixing and then handling the editing for us, right? And then just at pretty much anything else we ask to do, right? Just all the comes up with ideas. Like this is a very integral part of the show. Yep. So, all right. So you're working, you're just grinding it out. First property. What's the first one you guys buy?
So the first property, the only reason you're in the position, like talk about this, like you use the word frugal before you're frugal, like you saved a bunch of money.
Yeah. So I want to say by the time I was 20, I saved up, I think it was like $25,000 or $30,000. When I was working at Jewel, I during COVID, I was a sophomore in high school. I was working 35, 40 hours, and I was just saving all that money. Probably because I was so involved with everything in personal finance. Then Mark introducing me to a lot of that. I just knew the more I could build that snowball from the younger age and being frugal and saving every penny, not eating out, not spending any money. So you're staying home or you're saying no to this and that. Even on I would take it to the extreme sometimes, and it's not the best. But if I would be going on vacation, I would try to save every penny. Maybe I wouldn't eat out, or I wouldn't. When I was at work, I would decide to either bring lunch or not eat at all. And I would take it to the extreme sometimes, but that's what built the foundation to be able to put the $25,000 or $30,000 into the first property, which was a single family home in Downers Grove. We got through Ryan Smith, an REO broker, and we got that for $230,000. Ended up putting $50,000 into the rehab. I did a lot of that with another contractor, so we saved a lot of money there. And then ended up refinancing out for $380,000. And now we have a great tenant in there.
Beautiful. We got a beautiful purchase. How scary? Like, talk to us about some of your thoughts, though. I know I've talked to you about some of these things on the side. I forgot everything we've talked about, but like, That was a big deal. Like that was a pretty big rehab. The house is uninhabitable. It needed a roof.
Yeah, it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It was all plaster. Little like that. It was the first day we closed. I was so excited, and I got in there. I taped up all the windows, maybe because we didn't pull permits, but different story. But yeah, and then I started doing a demo.
If I'm an inspector though, and the guy's under 21, I'd be like, yeah, that's probably what you should be doing. Right? Like,
I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, I remember like one of the first nights or second nights, it was like 10 or 11 p.m. I had all my buddies over demoing the basement to clear it out. And I was telling them to be quiet, be quiet. I was worried about the neighbors being up super late, causing so much noise. About a week later, Mark and I go over to introduce ourselves, and it turns out they're deaf.
Oh man, that's good. I think we should implement a new rule though. Like you can't get a stop work order if you're not legally allowed to drink, right? Like that's just America.
You moved into that place though to put the time in there, if I remember correctly, right?
For downers, I did not know.
Okay, I thought you moved into that one. Okay.
But yeah, and then we had a couple other things going on. Like we put all the garbage in the garage, and then we did a live load. While we were filling that up, the truck driver put it on an uneven surface, and the entire dumpster flipped over.
30-yarder.
30-yard dumpster full of everything. So we had to fill it twice. While he was trying to recover from that, he ended up breaking our neighbor's asphalt driveway. Big patch needed. So we were worried about him calling the city because we didn't pull permits, obviously, and also just want to be in good terms with him. So we ended up paying for that patch. It was about $800, and I stopped by the property about 2 months ago, and it's all redone by the city anyway. So we wasted all that money, but kept the relationship with a neighbor.
It's a good lesson for anybody. Like what we did there though is we made that guy whole before we knew if we were going to, because we ended up fighting with the dumpster company, which I would love to say their name right now, but I don't want to do that. But they really long-term client of theirs, and they really kind of screwed us in that situation when they dumped a 30-yard truck in our yard and damaged the neighbor's yard. It's like, how can you even like
yeah, A, take care of it, and B, like you manage 1,500 units.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a lot of money they're going to lose.
Yeah. So it's like, but we took, instead of waiting to see if we're going to get the money, we made sure that the neighbor was happy, just because that prevents so much more. Like if we had to lose the $800, it just would have been a cost of doing business, I guess, was what I was trying to teach us in that moment.
100%. Yeah. One of the biggest things I learned from you is just those relationships. And when you first buy a property, talk to the neighbors, introduce yourself, tell them what you're doing. Start on a good foot. If there is anything that comes up, you want to have them to have your contact information in case anything comes up, so they contact you and not the city. And then also you have opportunities if they ever want to sell or maybe get in on what you're doing.
Yep, I'm doing one right now. It's a handwritten letter from like 4 years ago, right? Like this stuff still comes back around. So, all right, what is the house hack next, or did you get one in between there?
We got another in between there. This one was off market through Kendall Partners.
Episode number, I don't know.
Yeah.
But Jason, great guy. Or Jeff, I'm sorry.
Jeff.
What am I? I'm sorry.
So we got it in Hoffman. This one we got for $270. We put about, I want to say it was $40,000 into this. This was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch home with a crawl space. Ended up doing a lot of the same things. Ripped out all the carpet, refinished the hardwood, redid the bathrooms, redid the tile, saved the kitchen in this one, new systems, new roof. And then we ended up getting a really good tenant in there as well.
We ran into the issue with the HVAC though there.
We did with the permits, yeah, because there's a rental license. So
we actually got the permits, but when they came out to inspect, they're like, "Yeah, your panel's pretty old, so I think you should." It was the panel. I'm drawing a blank on the
Pacific,
name.
I
Pacific.
think.
Pacific. They don't allow those. A lot of cities don't allow those panels anymore, and they're like, "Well, you know what? I can't approve this. You have to replace your panel too." So that was not that expensive to do that, but it took time. By the time we got the permit, all that stuff, that put another 4 or 5 weeks onto the project, which obviously that costs money.
Yeah, so I was actually talking with the inspector on that, and he said if this was not a rental property, he would not have required us to do that. He said it because it's a rental property and the other people are going to be living in here. That's the only reason why he made us do that. So if I was living there or someone else was, he would not.
Can you guys, let's talk about structuring the partnership, because we have a lot of listeners out there who are young, gung-ho, hungry, might not have the money, but they're willing to, go bang their head against the wall. And we have a lot of listeners who have very good W-2 jobs who are, hey, I want to be in real estate, but I'm not going to be the guy going there and doing demo, right? So we have both camps here. How did you don't have to get super specific, but just talk generalities here. Like, how did you guys partner this where everyone's feeling good about it?
If you want to touch on that, you. you have more experience on partnerships and kind of laid it out for the grounds on how the partnership was structured.
With the first couple of deals, we're able to. He had cash. Now I had to. If I remember everything correctly, I floated some cash for the rehab and all that stuff. But the whole goal was to BRRRR out of it and leave as little as possibly can. And I think the first one he had enough. You had enough to cover it. I think I broke you at that point. But the second one, then I think he was short a dollar amount that I just gave him a note for, and he paid it off over the next.
Got it. So you have skin in both these games.
He's got a lot of skin in both these games. So 50% in both. So.
Man, so this brings us to house hack here, right? So like you've already done these two, and timeline. Is this all like in the same calendar year?
He wasn't even 21 yet.
We closed on Downers Grove on April 4th, and then we closed on Hoffman on August 28th.
What was your goal for Downers Grove? Is before you hit your goal to buy the first property was by what? What age? Was it 20 or 19?
It was 20.
Okay.
Yeah. So I hit that.
So you were 19
Yeah.
when
So
you
I was
technically
19
bought
when
your
we
first
bought
property.
that. Yeah.
One other funny thing about Downers Grove, this is not a horrible mistake, but it's a funny mistake. The house is probably, it's small. They call it post-war. They put this up just to be affordable for the veterans to come home. Probably 700 square foot first level. And I think we put 18 recess cans. When you stand, I stood out for across the street with the windows open and all the cans on, dude. The house just like lit, like you can't even see the house because the amount of light coming out of the windows was so much. You can't even see like the frame of the windows because it was
There's
so
no
bright.
advantage to doing that.
No, it was crazy. So we had to go back. We had to put dimmers on everything just because we knew that I would be pissed. Like there's no like snoozing. Like there's nothing like there's no like you either have an airport or you have darkness. Like the other mistake we made on that one too. Remember that one with the plumbing?
Yeah, we didn't replace all the cast iron, old plumbing, and we had some issues with that. And then we also had issues with the old galvanized lines. There's a lot of sediment that was built up inside of them. And the water pressure, and every time you turned on the shower, there would just be a bunch of sediment and rust kind of particles that would come out. So we ended up having to replace that after we had the resident in there. We were kind of thinking...
You had to deal with the resident, though, and all that. So
we were thinking after we bought it, maybe we have a resident there, maybe we turn the water on and we use it for a few weeks on and off. It'll kind of push everything out, but no, that wasn't the case. So after the resident moved in, it was about a week or two in, they sent me a photo of like a coffee mug. And there was just these big ass little like rust, like sediment things, and they were like not happy, obviously. So we were like, we have to do something about this.
Unless you're completely out of money, like when you're in that situation, always say yes to the always.
Well, if you think about
always
it,
do the work. Unless your back's against the wall and you can't do it, which happens. But like
I just
if
told you
have
how
the
small it
liquidity,
was
do it.
too. I just told you how small it was too, and it's like I mean the dollar amount was like wasn't even like it wasn't even a big deal.
It's a rounding error by the title company.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's so.
Yeah,
simple.
it's just a couple broken driveways of the neighbors. That's it.
So, all right. So you this is awesome. You have your two, and then you house hack here in Jeff Park, and I was awesome enough to be part of this deal as well. But you put it out there that you were looking to house hack, came across something in my neighbor and said, "Hey, like would this fit the bill?" And you guys jumped all over it. Like, talk to us about this deal here.
Yeah, so I think it was about that time we were transitioning, and then I asked if there was any W-2 roles because I think I was trying to qualify for a separate property.
Yeah, because that was his next step.
I'm sorry, I jumped a step here. You gave up, like you took a harder position here so you can have a W-2, so you can show a bank, so you can get a loan. Yes, like thinking 2 steps ahead here.
I was strictly 1099 doing inspections and still leasing at the time, and then the podcast, obviously. And I think I found something on the MLS, and I wanted to qualify for it, and I was like, I need to be W-2 employee to qualify because you need the 2 years of tax returns, and then you also need to not write off too much of your income because obviously it's a push and pull game, and there's no way I would have been able to qualify with how much I wrote off. So I needed that W-2 position, and luckily one opened up as a property manager. And about that time, I asked you if you had anything on your market, or if anything came up that maybe doesn't fit your buy box or your what size rehabs you're doing. So you gave one to me. It's a 4-unit in Jefferson Park, or a legal 3 with an illegal basement, or non-conforming, I should say, and then a coach house. If you want to maybe say the details on it.
Sure. So John Womack, who was like guest number like 20, we got to have him back on because he was very early in this. He was buying something bigger. This was part of an exchange. It was one of his first properties he bought. Was looking to offload. He came to me because it was Jeff Park, and I said, "Hey, I might have someone who'd be interested here." And because you had said, "I'm looking. Let me know if you have anything." Like, you got the at bat, and then getting this thing done right? Like it wasn't the easiest. Like talk to us, like, you know, again, you have to pull in a partner, like talk to us about like what you went through to get the deal done. Because most people would have said, oh, this is great. And then like after seeing everything that had jumped to, would have said, screw it. Like I'll get the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I really can't remember all the specific hoops we had to jump through. I know there were some issues with zoning, but even qualifying, my debt to income ratio was too high for the conventional 5%. I know we were even thinking about going FHA, but then you'd have to do a separate inspection, and we knew it wouldn't pass, or you'd have to do X, Y, and Z for that inspection, and we knew we didn't want to delay John's 1031. So we ended up, I ended up bringing a partner in to lower my DTI, and he was also right on the edge. We actually went back and forth with the lender. We did our own calculations, and my partner and I'm getting a.
You had one of his units had to get leased, right? That's where we were at. Where like they needed that thing leased up at a certain dollar amount, no dollar less.
Yeah, so he purchased a 3-unit in Logan Square, and he was living in the top unit, so he had to lease that out, and then he also needed to get a bonus from work for like $5,000 to put us right over that edge. And luckily it all worked out and we ended up closing. But
we were watching like rates just to dip a little bit just for that DTI, not for like the cash flow, but for that DTI of just like every little dollar was counting here.
How'd you meet that partner?
I actually met him through GC. I trained him as an inspector when I was in the turnover inspections. And then I also met him at multiple meetups, and we kind of just said, hey, if there's ever a deal that comes up, we're kind of in the same position. We're both young. He's a little older than me. He's 25. He's a little further in his career. He's a little bit more money than me saved up. So we figured it'd be perfect. You know, I'm more hands-on. He's really involved in the numbers and more of the business side of things, or the people side. He's really good at that. And I'm kind of more of the get my hands dirty and start working.
How'd you reach out? You snapped them and...
Yeah.
So how'd the
how did kids
conversation
do
go?
this day? You call his parents' house?
I don't know. I kind of just traded him, and he was kind of in the same spot. He was talking about buying his 3-unit. I didn't own anything like owner occupied at that time. We had the 2 properties, and I was like, I really want to live in something because I see the advantage of the down payment, lower down payment, and then just obviously the benefits of doing that.
So what was the benefit then of bringing him in as a partner, I guess?
Me being able to qualify, and then also him being able to help with day-to-day everything, and we kind of played to our strengths, I would say.
How much cash did you have to put into that deal?
So we actually got so it was 5% down. We got a seller credit of $15,000, and then we got some money off from the inspection report for a roof and some electrical issues that needed to be addressed.
Yeah, and the seller credit, we jacked up the payment. Seller netted the same, but we whatever the price was, we put it up 15 so we can get the $15K in cash just to help with the liquidity.
I think our cash to close was $17,500 for a $550,000 building
for a 4-unit in Jeff Park.
Yeah.
Wow. 17 grand.
17 grand.
Talk to us about that garden unit too, right? So this garden unit was no tenant in there. You know, it's pretty beat up, kind of funky. Like, you know, talk to us about how you went about this.
Yeah, so I moved in the first night, brought my air mattress.
Because you're itching to get out.
I was looking to get out of my house. So yeah, I moved in first
I actually
night.
remember this. You closed and like, I need the keys. Like I'm sleeping there tonight.
Just with my truck, I had my backpack and a sleeping bag and basically my air mattress. I was all good. That's all I needed.
What is like the tenant thing where like, this is my landlord? Like, as you see him pull up with an air, 20-year-old pull up with an air mattress?
I ended up introducing myself to everyone with Nathan, and he was like, how old are you? I was like, 26. And then the coach house resident, she just rolled her eyes. She's like, oh, new year. Or, yeah, it was like, oh, new year, you know, a lot of changes, and rolled her eyes and went back inside. But they're all great. They're all doing good.
So you moved in there. You had to do work to this place. I remember seeing the pictures.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. The condition it was. There was a lot of.
Now, all the other 3 units are nice. The garden was kind of untouched.
So the garden wasn't touched at all. All the other 3 units were renovated nicely. I think in 2018, so fairly recently. I ended up going in the garden unit. There was a lot of seepage issues that we weren't fully aware. We knew there was some moisture, but not to the extent that we realized. So we were thinking about maybe going there, paint, maybe redo the kitchen and whatnot, maybe as we go along. But ended up having to rip out all the walls, basically like a half gut. We didn't go the full way because it wasn't in our budget. We wanted to stay around $6,000-$7,000 for everything. So I ended up doing the majority of the work.
That's nothing.
Yeah, so we had very limited money. Obviously, all my money went to closing. We wanted to keep expenses as low as possible, so we had this probably $20,000-$30,000 rehab we should budget for. but we want to do it for 5,000. So we ended up doing all the work on weekends. We were both working still full time through this, so it was nights, and then literally every second we got on the weekend. Ended up ripping out the vanity in the bathroom. All the flooring was all ripped up. Didn't have a kitchen for about 2 months. Didn't have a vanity, so I was brushing my teeth in the shower. That's all I had basically in the entire unit. So I had a shower and then a concrete floor to sleep on.
Just put it in perspective. You went in with it thinking we want to spend 5,000, and then you found so much more work.
Yeah, about that. So yeah, I ended up having to do like basically like half a gut. New drywall in the kitchen, new drywall in both the bedrooms, all new flooring throughout, paint everywhere, new vanity. Didn't touch a shower, but yeah, ended up keeping it right around $6,000-$7,000 after everything.
What's in doing it yourself? What skills did you learn in that project that you didn't know yet?
Honestly, everything, just how much stuff costs. I know with our rehabs, you had me create the scopes of work and kind of manage a lot of the turnovers or the rehabs. And I learned so much about what stuff costs, and you're always going to go over budget. I mean, you hear it every day on the podcast, and every investor is going to tell you always in budget for 25, 50% more or whatever, depending on the investment. But yeah, just learning how to do everything hands-on. And I think everything that built up to that allowed us to do that and save the money instead of hiring it out. Obviously, if we hired it out, it definitely would have been done faster, but we would have paid that premium. It definitely would have been done better, but it's a non-conforming garden unit, and it's not really worth putting all that money into. We had a lot of conversations about, do we add drainage tile, or do we hire this out and whatnot. Maybe we should have done the drywall looking back at it to speed up the process. But I'm really happy with how it turned out with where we were at and kind of our budget and our time frame.
I think
How long were you living without a sink?
About a month or two.
That's awesome.
You're dating and you had girls that wanted to come back to your place. What were you telling them?
I don't know. I mean, just kind of setting the expectations, I would say. You know, before you walk into you kind of got to set the tone and kind of set what it's going to be like. Hey, in the middle of the rehab, promise, this will look really good when it's done.
Does any 20-year-old girl think you're a baller, or they're just like, wow, this guy's a scumbag? Like, was anyone impressed?
More so like, you're crazy. Had a couple of those. Yeah, you're crazy. Yeah, I didn't have a bathroom door or like anything like that for a while.
I'll cover my ears. Just go.
That's fantastic, man.
That is awesome. Just the pictures. Like when you showed those pictures to my wife and my kids, they just thought that was like my kids coming from St. Charles. Like they've never even seen like unpainted drywall. Like, and you're living in a building with like concrete walls at that point. Like they're amazed.
Yeah, all the foundation exposed, no drywall. Yeah, it was rough, but I love it. I love the grittiness of it, and I love everything about it.
Yeah, and now you got a beautiful building that pretty much cash flows, right? Like once you move out of that garden unit, like you're looking pretty good over there. It's a nice building.
Yeah. So right now our like PITI is like 47.15. So 4,000.
And that's at 5% down.
5% down.
Right, like with no down payment.
7.5 rate. And then our rent roll right now is 4,900. If we were to rent out that non-conforming unit, which I don't know, I'm not saying I would, but hypothetically, we'd be getting like 1,300 for that. So we'd be cash flowing maybe around 1,500. We do cover expenses or the utilities for the garden and unit one because they're shared. So that maybe budget $200-$300 a month for that, depending on the time of year. So we'd probably be cash flowing maybe $800-$900 a month, but we're just saving all that for expenses.
You just got to live there a year though, right?
Yeah, man, and this thing's you're gonna be halfway paid off, and you're gonna be 35, right? Like that's awesome.
I know. And the building's gonna be worth $1 million.
Yeah, man, nicely done, sir.
That's awesome.
This is awesome. Like, but you're not done yet. Like you do all this in like a year's time, you're completely out of money, and you guys go find a way to get another one, right? Like talk through this.
Well, now I get him back as a partner again, so we actually go find two more. One was actually from Alex, the wholesaler we had on here. He called me up. It was through me telling him what I'm looking for. Again, just always putting out in the air what you're looking for is always the best thing you can do. Always be talking about what you want. But he came to me with a place in Itasca. I paid a little more than I think I wanted to, but we were able to, we just did minimal. It was minimal work, and we got a great appraisal, and it will cash flow a few $100 when we got great equity and in a great Class A town. So, and the thing that made it is going to make it even more attractive is the second property we picked up. Kendall Properties put a property out there, and it was like a single family home in Downers. And again, we've already been attracted to Downers, and not even think about it. I just bid on it. Like I'm like, it's 255. I'll take it. And talking to,
I've done this with bungalows before. Like you just see the price, like we'll figure this out.
Yeah. Figure it out. And then it's funny when I talked to Kendall Partners later. I think I went up to I saw at the Renovo party. I'm like, hey man, why are you selling this for? Well, you're not telling me. Like it seems like too good of a deal. And they're like, actually, you bid on it so fast. We went back and redid our numbers because we were afraid that we missed something. So my just jumping to it kind of set everyone off. But we bought that, and then that we did the budget, and it was much larger of a rehab. And I think we could have taken it down. It ends up just being more a timing resources right now. So what we end up doing is we just turn around, we put it on the MLS for 350, see if we could sell it. And we didn't get 350, but we got I think it was 310, and we sold it. And we had put I spent about $4,000 trashing out, but so we had 40 grand on it when you back out our expenses. But that's going to go towards the Itasca down payment that we have to leave in there after the BRRRR is done. So it's just that our cash on cash on the Itasca deals got that much sweeter. I had to go jump through some hoops to get the other property, but we learned a bunch of stuff there as well too about some of the budgeting and what is unincorporated and septic and some of the things that you're always learning. So I thought that was still a valuable transaction.
Yep. Lance, what do you see 5 years, 10 years from now? Like, are you trying to take over the world here? Like, where's your head at? If you don't mind sharing with everyone. You have these inner thoughts with yourself, I'm sure.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure where I'll be in 5 to 10 years. I mean, I'll still be investing in real estate, but investing in Chicago. I don't know if I'd want to go the entrepreneurial route or if I want to go into full-time investing. I mean, it's kind of goes hand in hand, but there's kind of a difference between going into like business or working in a business compared to running your own thing, kind of like what you do with flips and everything. I think I obviously want to be in a position where I can choose to do what I want to do. And I think real estate is going to lead me to that freedom and that financial freedom. So I would love to maybe be a full-time investor or managing that portfolio and kind of choose to do what I enjoy to do, not work for a paycheck or work a set 40 hours a week for someone else. Like it's not a bad thing to do and everyone needs to do it, but I don't see myself in that position 10 to 20 years from now.
That makes sense. Also, like you can take your swings, you can mess everything up and still be 25, right? Like your world can blow up and be like, all right, I can start over here. Like this is just when people are getting out of college.
You've said in the past, though, you kind of like working with vendors and contractors, which is very rare. Why that, or in the experience you've done so far, why does that seem something that stands out to you?
I think I just enjoy like seeing that start, maybe product, and then seeing the end of it, or like seeing the start to the finish, and then kind of managing people or managing that entire project and all aspects of it, and kind of see the creative aspect you have to that, and you can change that up as you go. But I just enjoy managing kind of like those relationships and managing those contractors to see like really what is possible, and I don't know, kind of creating those win-win situations, if that makes sense.
That's a huge skill set to have, because think about this. Think about you have it. I've had it with Brian. You have it with Chris. Like that paperwork, contractor yin yang in a relationship, in a partnership is huge, and I think there's far fewer contractor partners out there, or general contractor or the rehab partner, than there is the admin spreadsheet guys. So like I think you're setting yourself up for a huge win there if that's something that you really are able to dig your heels into.
Man, lesson here though, man, just put yourself out there, provide value to others, and it'll reciprocate, right? Like think about like if he didn't help us with the podcast, if he didn't tell us what he wanted, if he didn't go and all the little things he's been doing for us, like, right? Like if you just sat there and said, oh, I wish this would happen, I wish this would happen, none of this would happen. You'd be sitting at 0 units, you'd be frustrated, and you'd be like, fuck it, I'm going to go do whatever.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things, just how can you provide value to other people? And then it'll eventually come back to you. Just not thinking selfishly. I think it's just push as much value as you can out there. And if you have time, how can you benefit someone else who's ahead of you? And then how can you learn from them and learn from their mistakes and learn from their years in the business or whatever experience they have? Because when you're just starting out, you have time, you don't have money. So how can you benefit someone who maybe has money and less time? So just to create those win-win partnerships or win-win situations.
Yep. Sounds familiar. Here, I'll throw one more story out about him. We were fishing. I think you were only 14 years old or something like that. Somehow we got into conversations about ETFs, and I literally opened up an account, threw $10,000 into it, and I made like I'm like up to like 60 grand now on that account from that many years ago because he gave me some 14, 15-year-old gave me advice on a stock tip.
Yeah, you're like, I have this $10,000.
But you got
where should I
intense into
invest
the
it?
whole stock market. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's when I was obsessed with it. When I was working at Jewel, I would just throw everything into high dividend safe stocks and then blue chip as well when I was working at Jewel.
That's awesome. See, you could walk down the aisles at Jewel or like that guy handing you your burger or whatever and just be like, man, this guy might be striving here. This guy might be ready to take over the world in 5 years.
yeah, it's awesome.
All right, cool. Wrap up?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
All right, man. How have you been able to do this while others wish they could? What's your competitive advantage?
I think it's just doing the hard things and just being able to put your head down and work for a certain amount of time without having that dopamine hit. I think you look across the board, it's always avoid instant gratification, and just delayed gratification is really what brings you success long term. So I think me being able to not have those benefits or maybe those rewards right away and just be able to work for a long period of time is what's helped me.
Gosh, that's one of the smartest things anyone's ever said on this podcast.
Yep. All right. One piece of advice you would tell someone that is yet to buy their first property here in Chicago, now that you've done it like 5 times.
I would say, depending on where your situation is and where you're at in life, think about how that can benefit you or how you should play to your strengths. So if you're in a young position like me where I'm young, I don't have much money, but I have time and I have the drive and I want to work, partner with someone who knows more than you and maybe put more time and effort in to gain that experience. Whereas if you have a lot of money, go to someone and then maybe you'll pay an extra percentage or more money up front. Maybe you work a really good W-2 job, go to someone, or maybe hire a property manager to do that. So I'd say play to your strengths depending on where you're at in life. If maybe if you're single, you can go and house hack and grind it out and live in a basement that's unfinished without drywall. But if you have a wife and kids, obviously that's going to change your investment strategy. So I would say play to your strengths and just get as much education as you can.
I couldn't get my wife to stop by that garden and walk inside just to look at it, so let alone live there. What do you do for fun?
I like to work out and just spend time outside. So anything in nature.
Cool. All right. Good book, podcast, or self-development activity you'd recommend to our listeners?
I'll give a couple books. So I mentioned earlier, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. I really like Stoicism. And Ryan Holiday has a lot of good books. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. That's a great book for just life and wisdom in general. Then I would say for like financial wise, Same as Ever and Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Those are all great books.
Is it weird that my favorite Ryan Holiday book is the Hulk Hogan?
Yes, I was thinking that when
That one's so good.
When he just said that, I'm thinking, I'm like, I wonder if that book's got more sales now that he passed away. Like I was totally just thinking that just now. I love that book. Like it's awesome.
You're the one who referred it to me.
All right, other than yourself, name a valuable resource that you could refer to our listeners.
Person I'd recommend would be Mark Ainley and Tom Shellcross.
There we go.
They can help you with anything you need in Chicago. Any connection or give you an answer and give you advice on literally everything. So.
We appreciate it. You got anyone else, though? Come on.
I don't think they'll land. They know we pay you. Literally.
Mike Procaccio with Pro Financial Services.
All right.
Yeah. Build your team.
All right. Build your team. Yep.
So, all right, Lance, thank you so much. You provide a ton of value to both Mark and myself, a ton of value to our listeners. You do all the behind the scenes stuff here. There's the whole reason we have the podcast. Is there any way that our listeners can find out more about you, or any way they can provide value to you?
Just share the podcast, like, subscribe, share with a friend. Me personally, if you ever want to talk, my phone number is 224-281-8866. I'd love to have a conversation with anyone.
All right, good stuff. We wrapping? Let's do it. Who are we playing for? Who's sponsoring?
All right, so playing for Maria Lopez. And Maria, if myself or Lance gets this question right, you get a $50 gift card brought to you by today's sponsor, Renovo Financial, the Workman team, who actually did most of our lending there on the deals that we talked about.
All right, so Lance, you're 21, correct?
Yes.
All right, so were you born in 2004?
Yes.
All right, this question will hit then. All right, so I kind of made that assumption, but if it was wrong, it would be weird. All right, so Lance was born in 2004. All of these things happened in 2004 in Chicago, except, and these are the 4 things. The famous Dave Matthews tour bus dumps 800 pounds of waste.
I remember that.
Cloudgate opens to the public, the Beam. Lovie Smith makes his Bears coaching debut. The Steve Bartman game happens at Wrigley Field. Which one of these did not happen in 2004?
So I don't know any of those. Dumping the waste.
Nah, guys, Bartman was 03.
Oh,
you should have gotten the 03 Cubs.
I was going to say that. I was going to say Bartman. But I thought, no, you're too much of a Cubs fan. Like, but I remember the Dave Matthews going over the bridge where they dumped that.
There's like a plaque there for that.
What bridge is that? Chicago Street?
I don't remember which street, but there's definitely, I remember there's a plaque for it. And I think the anniversary just hit. It was like August. I remember seeing like in my timeline, like it's the 21-year anniversary.
Well, Maria, thank you so much for buying a T-shirt at Straight Up Chicago merch store, and we will put your name back in the hat to play for another Chicago fact. Today's sponsor is Renova Financial, and we appreciate you sponsoring. And man, what an episode! Lance, thanks for coming on, dude. Looking forward to having you on again with all these other stories, and I imagine we'll make some more stories. Tom, thank you. Listeners, if you are doing something cool, and if you know a good podcast guest, we'd love to hear what they're doing. Refer us. You could find me on Instagram, Mark Ainley, REI, or you could go to the podcast website, straightupchicagoinvestor.com, and go under Ask Mark and Tom, and you can connect with us there. So if you know somebody that'd be a great guest, reach out, and we'd love to hear from you. Lance, thank you. Tom, thank you. Listeners, we'll see you next week.
Thanks all.
Thank you.